Hello everyone. Today we will discuss arithmetic mean for different types of series. It is there in the chapter Measures of Central Tendency. When we have to find the arithmetic mean, first we have to identify whether it is an individual series which has only the values of x and no frequencies there, or whether it is a weighted series in which we have both x and f, and whether it is a group series where class intervals are given and also frequency is given. So, for different series, we have different formulas for finding the arithmetic mean. First of all, the individual series. In case of individual series, like we have the different values of x and we have to find the arithmetic mean. In that case, how do we find the arithmetic mean? Here, the different values of x are given, 2, 12, 4, 5 and so on. We add all the values, we find the sum total, like here, 2 plus 12 plus 4 plus 5 and so on, and then divide by n. What is n? N is the total number of items. Like here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have here 8 items. So here n is 8. So we put n as 8 and the sum total of all these is 291. So 291 by 8, which gives us 36.375. This is how we find the mean of an individual series. Next we have weighted series. Weighted series means a series where only the frequency is there and the values of x are there. How do we find the mean of such a series? In such a case, the formula for finding the mean is summation fx by summation f. What is fx? We have the values of x and f given. We multiply x with f, like 25 multiplied by 348, 1 multiplied with 8, 22 multiplied with 97 and so on. Then we find the sum total and we get the summation fx. So here summation fx is 15278 divided by summation f. Summation f, we get summation f by adding all the values of f, which is 1000. So the formula is summation fx by summation f. So we get 15278 divided by 1000, which gives us the answer here as 15.278. So this is the case of a weighted series where there are no class intervals but x and f are given. Okay. Next is the group series. For a group series, we have the class intervals given and the frequency is there. So how do we find the arithmetic mean for a group series? In case of a group series, first we have to find the mid values of these class intervals. How do we find the mid values? We get the mid values by adding the class intervals like 0 plus 10 divided by 2, which gives us 10 by 2, which is 5. Same way, 10 plus 2, next one, 20 by 2, 30 by 2, which is 15, and so on. In this way, we get the mid values. So how do we get the mid values? By adding the lower class interval plus the upper class interval divided by 2. In this way, we get the mid values first, and after that, we already have the frequency given in the question as 5, 12, 18, 10 and 5. We multiply the mid value with frequency and we get the fx. Here, as you can see, I have multiplied x, which is the mid value for the first one, multiplied with 5, which is the frequency, 5 into 5, 25. Next, 15 multiplied with 12 gives 180 and so on. And we find the summation of fx. So, the formula here remains the same, summation fx by summation f. Here, the difference is just that x is the mid value. Because since we have the class intervals, so we get x by finding the mid value from the class intervals. And then summation fx by f, that is 1230 by 50, which gives us 24.6. Next, we have the arithmetic mean by shortcut method and step deviation method. These methods are generally used when the values of x are very huge or very large and it becomes very difficult to solve them by the normal methods. So, shortcut method in case of an individual series. What is an individual series? Which does not have frequency. Only the values of x are given. The formula for finding the arithmetic mean by shortcut method is a plus summation d by n. Now, what is A? A is the assumed mean. I'll explain you what is assumed mean with the help of an example. we take an assumed mean from the values of x, and summation d, how do we find summation d? D is equal to x minus a by n. N is the total number of items. Next is the formula for shortcut method in case of a series with frequency. If frequency is given, the formula just becomes summation fd divided by summation f. Instead of summation d, we have here summation fd and summation f. This is the case with a series with frequency. Now, step deviation method. In case of step deviation method, if there is an individual series, that is no frequency is given, the formula is a plus summation d by n into I. Just the difference between the shortcut and step deviation method is this I. Here, we take an I, a is assumed mean and d is x minus a by I. This I is different in case of step deviation method, which is not present in the shortcut method. Now, here, what is I? I is generally the difference of the class intervals. If suppose our class interval is 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, then the difference between the lower limit and the higher limit of the class interval, that is 10 minus 0, 10, 20 minus 10, 10, that is I. So, we take x minus a divided by I in case of step deviation method. Next, if we have to find the mean by step deviation method in case of a series with frequency, how do we do it? Just summation fd, summation f into I. Same thing, just summation, we have frequency here. Okay. So now I'll discuss a sum on step deviation method with frequency. See, this is the data given to us and we need to find the mean here. We have to find the mean in case of this. So we see that the height is given, which is 130 to 134 and so on. These figures are really huge and it becomes very difficult to solve them with the help of the normal methods. So here we will use step deviation method. First of all, since you can see it's sum with class intervals, so we will have to find the mid value no matter which method we follow. So we find the value of x by finding the mid values. How do we find the mid values? Mid value is like 130 plus 134 divided by 2. So we add the lower class limit and the upper class limit and divide it by 2 to find the mid values. So we get here 132. Here 132. Same way for the next one we'll do 135 plus 139 divided by 2 and we'll get 137 and so on. We will find the mid values over here first. This is the value of x. Now we find, since we are doing the sum with step deviation method, we need to find d, because in case of step deviation method, in case of a series with frequency, we need d. And what is d here? D here is x minus a by I. So now let's discuss what is a. A is the assumed mean. As you can see here, a is 147. How do we get that? See, because since here 7 items are there and the item in the middle is 147, it is the assumed mean. So a is 147 here and I is nothing but the difference of the class intervals, as I said. Here we can see that 130 to 134. These are the class intervals, but it is not continuous. We have to make it continuous. So the class interval becomes 129.5 to 134.5. And the difference between the class interval, that is 134.5 minus 129.5, which gives us 5, is the value of I. So I here is 5. So how do we find d? D is x minus a by I. So for the first one we see d equal to, what is the value of x? It's 132 minus a. A we have taken as 147. A is 147 assumed mean. So 132 minus 147 divided by I is 5, as I told you earlier. So it becomes 15 divided by 5 minus 15 divided by 5 rather. So it is minus 3. So the first d is minus 3. Next one in the same way, 137 minus 147, which is the assumed mean, divided by I is 5 only. So, which gives us minus 10 by 5, which is minus 2. In the same way, we continue 142 minus 147 by 5, which becomes minus 5 by 5, which gives us minus 1. And so on, we continue to find the d for the other values of x. So, this reduces our larger values to smaller ones and makes our calculations easier. So next, after finding d, we do f multiplied. F was already given in the question to us. The values of frequency were given. So we multiply f with d to get fd. So we find the summation of fd. Minus 15, minus 30, minus 28, 0, 17, 20 and 3. And on adding them, we get minus 33. After getting that, we have the formula of x bar in case of step deviation method as a plus summation fd divided by n into I. A is 147 as mentioned earlier, and summation fd we got is minus 33, and n means the total of the frequency, which is 100. So we got 100 and multiplied with I, which is 5. So on solving this, we get the mean as 145. This is how we find the mean by step deviation method. Same way we can find the mean by shortcut method. The difference is just that in that case, the value of d would be x minus a only, and we won't multiply any I in it. That is the only difference. So irrespective of whether we follow step deviation method or shortcut method, our answer for the mean will be same only. I'll be uploading such comparison for other measures of central tendency like median, mode, quartiles, percentiles, deciles. Stay tuned for more updates. Thank you everyone.